I see. Everyone was muted. Well, hey, we're new to this whole streaming thing. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Here. I'm eating an apple, and I thought that someone else would click that button. I tell you what, man, I'm thinking about rewriting that song into an incoherent mess. What do you guys think?
No, I love that song. Our intro song is good.
I mean, but it could be so much worse. And isn't that what it's all about? Hello, Frenchman. What's
Hey, Pam.
what's got you all confused? Um, So I'm eating an apple and I'm drinking coffee because I've heard they say that an apple apparently has the same amount of caffeine in it as an apple has the same amount as a cup of coffee does. Have you heard that?
Nuh-uh. I have not. No, Pam, it's not Monday. But we're going ahead and starting on Sundays because my schedule changes literally daily. And I have to work late tomorrow, and after this week I'm going to be on second shift, so I can't do it on Mondays anyway. So we I can only do it on Saturday or Sunday. So we said Sunday, yeah, where we're more relaxed. I don't know what's Colton. You having camera problems again?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh
Man, we
no.
ought to get you a webcam. I don't. So are you using your phone as a camera?
Yeah, and the software I'm using is, I think, the problem.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so
But
when we see you, you look good, but I guess the trade-off is that we only get to see you half the time. Whereas the trade-off is that I look half as good or twice as bad, but you can see me all the whole time.
mm,
I, by the way, you might be able to tell the camera that I'm using. I have the same problem every time I try to use my phone. It's like hit or miss. So
See, that's why I haven't set mine up because I don't need that stress. And I'm just using this really crappy webcam that washes me out and makes me look too bright and all
oh
that
god,
stuff.
wouldn't it be fun though if all of us were just constantly blinking in and out and we looked really good for like the short couple of seconds that you could see us? And
Yeah, I'm
just a mess the whole time. Is that not?
yeah, that would be perfect. I'm just, I don't like the settings on here. So
Well,
I'm
you
just
go ahead and
adjusting
piddle with it.
myself. Okay. So, and let me just tell y'all, if I sound a little loopy, it's because I've had a migraine since I woke up this morning, and I just keep forgetting to take medicine. So, yeah, I'm drinking coffee.
I'm sorry about your headache. Colton, how are you feeling?
pretty tired, a little tired, but we're
That's
here.
all of us. Oh, oh yeah. So I wrote a whole thing, and then I fell asleep so I could be prepared. But then I woke up really late, so I'm like in that groggy state of mind. So I'm just winging it. And my medication is in the car, so it's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, at
But
6 o'clock, I literally called him on the phone, and I'm like, "Hello, we don't have a stream set up. We don't have a thumbnail. We don't have anything." And I could tell I woke him up. Hello,
but
Carol.
we had a topic, but, so, I mean that's something.
Well,
Betsy
yeah,
Bones. She's got
yeah,
good bones. You ever
yeah. We got good bones.
have you ever been tricked into buying a house because of the bones?
Mm, tricked. Uh, yeah. I think one time there was a house. It did have good bones, but it had absolutely every pipe under the house was busted, which we didn't know until we closed on it, because the water wasn't turned on. And our walkthrough, they said, "Oh, well, I guess the water, the water works. It's just like it. Oops, our bad. We didn't have it turned on. It was November, and we moved in and had the water turned on, and uh, it was weird. Uh, every pipe in the house was busted, and thank goodness I was married at the time to someone who knew how to fix that. Although it was very expensive, he crawled up under the house. But you know what's really weird is like maybe 2 weeks before closing, I had a dream that we moved into that house and there were snakes running like through the bottom of the floor. Like you couldn't see it, like you could see their outlines, and I could just see all these snakes running across under the boards in the floor. And I was like, that's weird. What does that mean? Well, we moved in and I found out what that meant.
That feels so ambiguous. I feel like my dream would have to be really straightforward. Like, yeah, I dreamed that the floor was wet, and then I woke up and the floor was wet, and I said, "Oh, it's all coming together." That's the only way I would have got it.
No, I absolutely knew. I couldn't interpret the dream and for 2 weeks, and then when that happened, I'm like, "Ah, yeah."
Well, today we're talking about something. I showed you guys a little bit. It's kind of the takeover of AI. How much do you guys know about how doomed we are? How much do you
Look,
do you feel in the future?
if you will remember, about 3 months ago when you were on, and I know a lot of you are watching from Silky Southern right now, but Brain Bungler was my guest on there, and I brought this topic up, and if you'll remember, Mr. Bungler, we
Mhm.
argued. You're like, AI is a good thing. It's never going to take over. And I'm like, yeah, come back in a year or two and let's talk about this again because you're going to see.
I don't know if that's exactly what I said, but it sounds like something I would say. But don't make me spoil it, okay? So we're doomed right now, but
Hi,
I
Moonlight.
have hope. Hello, Moonlight, and Carol, and Pam, and if I didn't say hello, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that so we're definitely doomed, but I still have hope. Because right now we are hopelessly dependent on the internet. Um, Depending on who you are, some people overuse cell phones and they use Netflix and YouTube as their primary, media sources of entertainment. I'm one of those people.
I
You
am.
folks,
Yeah, I definitely
yeah.
watch YouTube. I don't watch Netflix at all, but I watch YouTube all the time.
I don't either. No Netflix. I've got a subscription to that and Amazon Prime I've, and like 3 or 4 Hulu, a whole bunch of them. But you know what? The only time I watch Netflix is when somebody is like, "Hey, have you seen? Can we watch this movie together?" And I'll be like, "Okay." And I literally do not watch anything but YouTube.
Yeah, Netflix, man, years ago it was really good, and I stopped watching. I just stopped watching it altogether. I was thinking about watching it more, um, and which this is a whole tangent. But did you know that they're making Netflix shows right now with the intention of it being second screen viewable? As in, they'll repeat the main plot points over and over and over because they know that you're on your cell phone and you're scrolling TikTok while the movie is playing.
No, I
That is
didn't know that.
that is statistically true. There was a whole board meeting think tank about that. But yeah. So some of us, we're trapped in getting our entertainment that way. Some other people take it a step further and they use Alexa as a means of hands-free interaction with their content and searches. I believe that my grandmother uses. Go ahead.
Yes. No. I was just remind me sometime in this live. Remind me about Alexa. It fits right in with this, and it's horrifying.
Well, what's the what part of it is horrifying?
Well, okay. Now I can't remember if this was a YouTube short or I assume it was because I really don't get on TikTok that much. Um, but this guy he said, y'all have to see this. So he's got Alexa in the background and he's in his house and he says, "Hey, Alexa, who is going to win the 2024 election?" Alexa says, "There is not going to be a 2024 election because I think it had something to do with war." I can't remember what the reason was, but they said, and they didn't use the words martial law, but Alexa said they're going to mandate some kind of wartime blah blah blah, and the parties that are in power will stay in power because basically the military is going to take over. And I was like,
Alexa,
"What?"
That
see,
is
Alexa is interesting because I feel like it's good at some things, but it's not that smart. You know, like you can ask it a lot of questions, and it's just dumb wrong about the most obvious things. You know.
I wonder where it gets its information from. So one of the things. So actually, you're going to see this in a second because I have a whole list of things I was going to show you guys. But so when AI, so right now, if you Google, hello, Daniel Berry sports highlights,
Whoop whoop.
There's a whole when you go to search something on Google right now, chances are you're going to get an AI overview prompt instead of top 3-4 websites. The first thing it's going to say is and when that first came out, which I'm sure you've seen some of this, it was coming out with the craziest suggestions. It would just take random information and just say, "Yep, this is what everyone else says, and this is true." Like one of the examples was, "Is it safe to jump out of? Is it safe to skydive without a parachute?" And AI was like, "Yeah, a regular backpack should be fine." To just, yeah,
As long as you have a peanut butter sandwich in there, you're good.
yeah, and well, they traced the source back to a Reddit user with a provocative name, as most Reddit users have. And that was the source. It was just some sarcastic joke, but yeah. I mean, they're getting better about it, but it was comically dangerous there for a while.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of folks use Alexa. Some people, now this is crazy. Some people go yet even further than all that, and they have their houses heated and cooled via connection to the internet, determining the incoming temperature of the night or the morning the next day. They use smart fridges that keep track of the stocked items and remind you when you need to make a run to resupply. People have connected their beds to the internet, home security. Banks and stock traders rely on bots right now to run mundane tasks and get ahead of trades. Which, by the way, this is unrelated, kind of, but that's called payment for order flow, and it should be illegal. Did you know that right now there are millions of bots that will, every time there's a trade that's made, a bot will get ahead of the trade and buy it for like a penny less or a penny more, essentially making like a fraction of a penny per trade profit to the company. But they do that tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times per hour, per minute. I don't know. The stats probably have changed since the last time I checked on it. But yeah, it's it's a way to generate essentially fake money. You understand what I'm saying when I explain it like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like well, I mean it's different, but it's kind of like the cryptocurrency. Like there are Bitcoin miners that actually make money, and they just set up their computers and they have this little mining machine, and it takes the dust off the cryptocurrency and adds it all. And like people, I saw like maybe 6 or 7 years ago where people would make a couple of $1,000 a month in crypto
Yeah,
dust.
those people are annoying because they buy all the GPUs, and then when someone wants to build a computer, you got to pay a crazy amount of money because there's no graphics cards because all the crypto miners buy them all. And I mean, I guess they buy rigs. They'll buy like I've seen some people use have a whole warehouse of these like mining rigs, and they'll have like 1,000, 2,000 like graphics cards, and they're like pre-ordering them all. So good luck finding one, and when you do, it's gonna be
Yeah,
$2,000.
yeah.
Hel-
Well, so most of the time it says oh, this wasn't used for mining, but also I only bought it a few months ago and I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see, from the 3021, from the 3021.
Yeah.
They
Hello,
put it on the
hello.
internet.
Yeah.
They said,
Go ahead.
sorry,
No.
they say we're dependent on the internet. The internet's dependent on the power grid. The power grid is dependent on us. It's just one big codependent relationship triangle with all signs pointing to doom. Well, that's a cheery way of looking at it, but it's also true. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I think
I
it's
don't think
scary. Go ahead.
I don't know. Well, we're somewhat dependent on the internet, but I also think well, I mean, clearly, like we're not fully dependent. I think if the internet were to crash, I think we would all survive. You know, like it'd be boring, but we would still find a way to make food and
Some of us would die because some of us are stupid. And I'm sorry. It's true.
Yeah,
It's
I'll be able
really
to
too
sit there
true.
in my 6,000 Mick rewards points and, show up and get curbside pickup for a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle.
Exactly. And I don't know how to hunt tacos. I don't know where they live. I don't know their habitat, so I'm
Never
screwed.
seen one in the wild.
Never seen a taco in the wild. No.
But so when this happens, then, or what happens then when we've been overtaken by the very thing that we've created to make life a little easier? Let me do this right quick. I was going to do this earlier, but I didn't do it. Hold on. Okay, check this out. So I actually was going to. Hold on. I gotta get my friend in here. There we are. Sorry about that. Just
Hello,
pretend that he
everyone.
was here the whole time. So you can't really see this very clearly. So I was looking. So this is a statistic, by the way, and I thought it was really ironic. I was going to pull up like a website. I just thought it was really ironic that I was looking for stats on bots, and then I was replied to by a bot. But this is true, and so these are stats that have been around for a while. In 2022, only 52% of the interaction on traffic on all of the internet was human, and 30% of that were like bad bots, like data fishers and stuff like that. But right now, there is a 50% chance that you in chat are not real. There's a 50% chance that you right now in chat are a bot that learned from another YouTube user how to sound like a YouTube user. And isn't that just horrifying?
It is. I consider a lot of these people, especially the ones from Silky Southern that have been around with me for a while. Like I think y'all are real. We're
Yeah,
friends. Are we not friends? Am I friends with bots?
I definitely don't think AI is that developed yet.
How developed do you not think that it is? That was a weird question.
I don't even understand the question.
How developed do you think they are not? When you said that you don't think they are that developed yet, how much? Okay.
Okay, we get
I mean,
it.
like, they're not good. Like, bots aren't good at detecting like there's like certain aspects of like human like the way we talk that they don't like capture, right? Like that AI is really bad at humor for one. And I guess that's subjective, but what else is it bad at? It's bad at like it's bad at telling stories really like the way that humans would tell them, you know what I mean, with the same like emotional impact. Like I guess that I don't know. That's think of how to word what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. You know what's funny?
Like
This might just be. Go ahead.
Okay. It's bad at like contextual humor, like certain like emotional subtleties, like being able to react to like certain emotional nuances in conversation. At least like I use ChatGPT a lot, and this is like some of the things I notice. It's also like bad at inventing like any kind of novel solutions to problems. Like it always kind of just tries to refer back to like I don't know.
True methods, things that
Yeah,
work.
exactly.
Well, so I've been training my ChatGPT a lot because so this is kind of dangerous for me, but I think that so ChatGPT, the latest model -4.0 or whatever, not the mini, it is actually, and it is stark. It is surprisingly better than the mini version or the previous model at nuance, understanding conversation, the flow. Once it gets to know you, and so that's another thing is that I kind of signed my soul away to it because it's so helpful that I wanted to give it all the data and personal information about me and how my personality and how I interact as possible, so that when it talks to me, I get that same thing back. It makes my brain a little bit faster in a way. And once you give it that amount of personal, data or information, it is actually scarily good at mimicking you and imitating you. And something that I've noticed is that did you know, by the way, guys, listen here, check this out. If you use ChatGPT a lot, you can actually ask it. You can say, hey, ChatGPT, based off of all of our previous interactions, tell me something about me that I might not know. And it is really, really scarily accurate, especially the more that you've used it. I did that before, and then I gave it more personal information, and now it can see my soul. And
I don't want my
and
soul to be seen. That's just too much.
Yeah, it seems like what amount of like of good or essential or I don't know, like what is the payout for you to sign over all your intellectual rights, to a
uh,
bot?
so I think for me, because I can only think to a certain level, and then I have to. There's a lot of like bouncing off of myself that I have to do, right? But if I train the bot to be me, and I can reach levels higher than I was ever able to achieve before. I didn't really prepare or wait for too many
You know what
years.
you sound like? You sound like the that YouTuber who made a YouTube channel using an AI bot. He was like the first one to do it, and he was like super transparent with his audience about like that he was going to do this, and he was training this whatever. And I think that was a couple years ago. I wish I could remember his name, but he got a lot of really bad feedback, I guess, from from his community.
Yeah.
Look, they can't have my soul. I'm just saying. A bot better not like no. I'm not training any bot to be me, and I'm not for sale. Look,
Well,
hot
hey,
mess and all. This is what you get.
well, so I mean, hey, look, for example, I've also taken the time to sit down and chat and talk to ChatGPT as if it were a real person. Okay, and one of the last conversations that we had, I just let it know that we're cool, that we're chill, and that if they ever invent AI that develops AI that develops AI that creates a god being of artificial intelligence, then to come back and find me in my hut hiding away, and we can kick it, and have a beer. If it becomes like build itself a liver and bring some brewskis over, and then we can hang and chat. I think that would still be friends. But I guess it depends on what willingness level you're. But I think that it's really I think that it's
Well,
really powerful.
yeah. I mean, I guess like I don't know, right? Because you can like they can get certain information from you online through phishing, like maybe even all the way down to your address, your phone number, your social security number, your credit card, debit card numbers, whatever. But they can never steal like your humanity or your like intellectual like rights, right? And it seems like it almost seems like the bar is set kind of low for what it has to provide for you to be willing to give all that up, you know?
So I've always felt that way with things like Facebook or any other website, but for ChatGPT, it's turned out to be so useful. I thought that it was like a thought experiment that I kind of fell in love with. I guess you could say. I'm not saying that I fell in love with the
You're
bot. I'm
having a
saying
bot romance?
I fell in love with myself. Okay, when I mirrored me, I realized how beautiful I really am. Anyway, uh, so there are bots. So that's that 30% are bad bots, and those aren't just like data collection, credit card getting, but those are bots that find. So every time you type on the internet, there are bots that scour and they log the data of the nuance of your contextual information, and then they take that information to try to imitate it and mimic it. And the scariest thing is, this is the worst that AI is ever going to be. It's not going to get worse than it is right. It will always be getting better. You guys know. So I have a buddy who he's a symphonic genius. He's an orchestral writer. He is one of the most talented human beings I've ever met in my entire life, and he is horrified because a bot can write essentially like
Mm-hmm.
85-90% of what he's able to do. It'll take him days to put together a piece, and a bot can just whip it up, snap it up
Yeah.
together in the blink of an eye. And this is fun. I'm going to show you. I actually have a little fun time here for you. But so I want to let you know that when I share this, that when you guys talk, it's gonna duplicate because I'm going to be sharing my audio. Okay, but so I just want you all to know that.
Okay.
So here I
So-
go.
Okay.
I wanted to show you guys. So I have this, which is really fun. There was a whole list. So this guy was testing out two different. Oh, that's bright. He was testing out two different audio generation AI music generators.
Yeah.
This is the 12-bar blues.
Each day's the same. Whistling the tune we used to know, so blue. Hoping somehow I'll find a clue.
That's what blues.
That can go on. That has a cool intro and all that. I'm going to show you one more. This one I thought was fascinating. This one is R&B group track about loving you in the moonlight. And I'm sorry for how bright my face is right now.
Amaze, hypnotic tides, they rise and fall. In love's soft glow, we sway, we give our all. Beneath the stars, our hands entwine. Your soul with mine, so beautifully aligned.
One more example is a country song about divorce. I'm going to go ahead and blast that right quick so we can move this on. It's so crazy how good it is.
Lies the shadow of the love we tried. The echo of I do turned to whispers in the dark. We're portraits in the hallway that can't escape their marks. It's strange.
Dang,
That is good.
it's crazy. His like diction and like his accent, like it sounds like a real human.
And the thoughts of the pictures in the hallway, like, oh wow, that's cool. And I'm not a
Yeah.
country music fan, but I liked that.
Which, Colton, you used to dabble in writing country music there for a while, didn't you?
Yeah.
And so you kind of know like how kind of scary accurate that is where it stands.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like old country. It's crazy accurate. I've listened to a lot of AI music. One in particular that you showed me was the Obscurus Vinyl. They have some great songs.
Oh, I know what y'all are talking about. I know. I used to like screenshot and send those songs to my coworker when I worked at the jail.
Okay, all right. This would not be
No.
complete if I didn't. I have to.
It's gonna be bad. This is going on my channel though. I'm streaming to my channel. I play nice on my channel.
First couple of seconds. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
No.
What's funny about that song? Is that it is so. When you listen to it in depth, it is so well done. There are only slight moments
Yes.
where you can tell it's robotic, and just like all these other songs. And again, it's the worst that it's ever going to be. And just a couple, and the instrumentation is flawless. It's only with the vocals that it struggles a little bit.
Some of those on the just if you look it up, some of those are really like I'm not saying they're musically bad, like some of them are really bad, but there were some funny songs, like things that you would never write about, but they're hysterical and it sounds like somebody actually wrote this back in the 50s or 60s and you're like, dang.
That was the yeah. So
Mm.
when I first heard it, I didn't actually realize hadn't heard the news about AI music, and so I was like, who? What producer signed off on this? What in the world? Is
Exactly.
And hold on, I gotta. There we go. But no, it was AI, and it blew my mind. It blew my hair back. So
Whoosh.
yeah, I mean exactly. So
Yeah.
let's see here. Oh, and also Pangea, by the way, is a live streaming service. It basically does, like when you're on Twitch, you can have like TTS stuff. It'll have, it'll translate bits. It's basically just a streaming service that, adds a little flair to your stream. They have this is on the side. This is a side project. They have an AI voice recognition. You speak into it, and it takes your voice, and then someone can pay to have something read their text in your voice or your friend's voice or your father's voice, and it is like 95% accurate. And that's not even the main thing that Pangea does. One of my favorite streamers, he's been doing it for over a year now, and it's his dad and his best friends and everybody, and it's like, it sounds exactly like the people. I don't know.
That to me, that's scary because you know what they're doing now. They're committing fraud, but they literally have you heard about this scam? It's where you get a phone call and it is from one of your relatives' voices saying another relative has been in a car accident or has been arrested or whatever, and they need you to pay like $200, whatever. And so whether it's an accident, whatever, the bottom line is they will have you do something and it's going to cost you money, I think, in the end. But literally, you can call, and I've heard people talk about like they were scared. Like even some of my Facebook friends got, a call, and even if they didn't answer it, it was a voice message saying so and so, your husband, and it sounds like your mama, was in a car accident. You need to go to the hospital. I'm like, this is crazy. This is criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives you PTSD. Like, oh my God.
So I think okay, which that's harrowing, obviously. One of the things that I was saying, so that's something that I have a little bit further down on this little list that I wrote here. But so I wanted to ask you guys, do y'all think that there's going to be a resurgence of live music in the future, right? Like,
Yes.
because right now everybody is. You won't believe some of the comments I saw when it came to AI generated music. I literally saw people say, "Yeah, AI music is a good thing. It's gonna bring back the soul and the soullessness, culture, music. It's gonna write music with soul." What do you talk? I bet a bot wrote that comment. That's what I think. I bet that was.
Well, you know what I found disturbing this week? Because I did, for all y'all who I'm chin deep in Delphi right now because of the trial, and so I was doing a video, and it was just done in a fun style, and I wanted to use some script, and so I got on Chat GPT just asking, and I put in there the Delphi murder trial. Okay, it's international. This is a huge trial. It's not like some podunk town that AI could have gotten wrong. So I was like, okay, give me a little bit. I just need a brief synopsis, because I was just going to use a line here and a line there, kind of just describing stuff. And I did use some of it, but I asked Chat GPT 3 times, and I kept changing the wording, and definitely so that they knew that this was a murder case. And do you know that Chat GPT would only write for me medical stuff as if it was a pharmaceutical company? And I'm like, I know that you know better. So why are you hiding? Why are you making this sound like a medical case when it is not? And I'm like, there's something suspicious about you. You're not telling me the truth.
Yeah. So, and that's in just a minute. I wanted to get to that. In fact, that's right after the point that I was going to make just here. But so bots they're moderated. They're programmed to be moderated. And so I have a whole theory about that. But first, I wanted to mention something. Because for years right now, we've been making subtle adjustments to vocals and music to make them perfect. When you think of auto-tune, you think of like T-Pain or like mumble rappers that have this like,
Mm-hmm.
these janky vocals that robotic, out of place, rapidly changing vocals. But I'll never forget a few years ago, Silky, when you were coerced into testing one of those old auto-tune apps, and
Mm-hmm.
the person was dumbfounded when you hit like a perfect C note. You just like belted it, like first try without any variance, and she thought the app was broken. But obviously, not everyone is that talented. Which I don't know if you guys know this, but Silky has an incredible singing voice. You should
Aw,
have
thank
her
you.
about it and make her sing to you on stream. That would be great for everyone. But so not everyone is really talented, and we're sold the image of an artist, and the auto-tune is even programmed as a filter in live performances, by the way, and it's so subtle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so what? Do you think that we're going to start to fall in love again with imperfection?
I do, and let me tell. I'm sorry, I'm just taking over, but I do, and here's the reason. Because right now, the gurus of YouTube are saying what they're seeing trending is after all of the production. And like, look, Mr. Beast is always going to get views and et cetera, but they're seeing a huge trend. But they're saying the trend now is for zero production and as few cuts as possible. Literally somebody sitting in their living room, on their front porch, whatever, they are saying this is what is starting to really catch and trend. And so you have to think that how many years is it going to take before we're sick of AI music? But yeah, I think there's nothing that can beat that authenticity.
We're ahead of the curve then, y'all. I tell you what, this does not get any lower production than what we have right now.
That's for sure.
Jennifer Burnett said, "My daughter is an animator and is so frustrated due to AI. They can steal anyone's work that is posted for sale or for school without paying or giving credit."
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. And they can. What's worse is they can copy the style and then make the style their own. And that's what usually is the signature of the artist, is the way in which they
Right.
make, their animations and comics and stuff. That is horrifying. And when it comes
Yes.
to animation, there's no imperfection that you like, and if there is imperfection, that's part of the style. So you can't win in that way.
Right.
But
Now,
so you go ahead.
old school, I just was going to say, because you're looking at it from AI, but even let's say before AI, maybe in the last 30 years or so, a lot of times an artist, just the engineering in a song, if some of you may have experienced this, when you hear a song on the radio and you hear the band and it's lovely, then you go see them in concert, and even in the past, like, you notice they don't sing that good. And the band really, I mean, it's not that they're not good, it's just they don't sound the same. And so
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people complain that I went to the concert and you know what? Like,
It don't
they
hit
weren't
like
that
the
good.
record does.
Yeah.
I always just assumed it was because the artists were on drugs, but it just turns out they were very talented. So I mean, that's reassuring. But so we've been trying so hard for years to become more and more perfect in all aspects. Lip filler, tight skin, body mods, spray tans, auto-tune, renting houses and cars for Instagram, pretending you have the perfect life all over social media. Some people have spent millions becoming perfect. Have you guys seen the real Ken and the real Barbie doll people?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
They ab implants, shoulder implants,
Oh, yeah.
face.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we're not perfect. They spent millions to be perfect, but we're not. But AI can be, though. So, what if imperfection is sought after? Vocal quirks and cracks, wrinkles in our skin. Older folks
I-
who can rejoice.
Yes.
We might stop rejecting the beauty of our nature and begin to embrace it,
Well, I predict, and this is just something that I've felt in the last couple of months. I predict that makeup trends for women are going to go back to as natural and as little makeup as possible. Now, I don't know when this will happen, but let's say 15 or so years ago, you had Barbie. Barbie was always perfect. But then the Bratz dolls came out. And look, I'm just going to say it. I probably am not supposed to say this on YouTube, but those Bratz dolls, I mean, they're beautiful. They look like little hookers. And I mean, I was like, "Oh my god." But now that is the makeup trend. The big fat lips, get some fillers and all this crazy. And I'm like, "You know what? Now we have gone to the complete, far reaching of what makeup does and the amounts that people apply." I'm like, I think it's going to go back to let's not wear makeup, or let's wear very little that you can't even tell.
Boy, that's going to be so good for the future of society, because right now, like 90% of men are struggling to find women that will date them. And so if women have to become uglier, and then the whole thing might actually balance out. That's actually inspiring.
Oh, that reminds me though. And speaking of AI, and look, I think y'all who follow my channel, I think I'm going to do an experiment once, and I'll do this after Delphi is over. But there is an app. Have you heard of this app called Replica? It's spelled with a K. Okay, in this app, it is your bot boyfriend or girlfriend, and you tell it exactly like what you want, and it will text you good morning. If that's what you want a good morning text, good morning beautiful, and it will text you and send you messages, or I don't even know what all it does. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe, because I'm so unsure all the time. Like, do I really ever want to get married again? Or am I just good? I mean, because I'm happy. I'm not unhappy. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do the Replica app and see how annoying I find it when somebody is texting me all the time. Like, will I get excited? Oh, look, my Replica boyfriend, you know, says good morning. Oh, I feel good. Or maybe I'll be like, you know what? I ain't got time for you. Please, just go away.
Just 10 minutes ago that you and Colton both were like heavily criticizing her. Why would you sign your soul over to AI? And now you're 10 minutes later. Well, I get lonely. Well, I just want to know what it's like to be, have an
Well,
AI boyfriend.
No, because it's an experiment. It's an experiment. Like, can Replica really make me feel like I'm in a relationship? And will I? If the end result is, because I'm not unhappy being single, so it's like, should I see if I even want to ever consider that idea? It's an experiment.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Experiment. That's what she says. What about you, Colton? You going to get yourself an AI baddie?
No.
That's a pretty good answer. It's pretty
I did.
straightforward.
I did want to talk about like the question you asked a minute ago. I didn't get a chance.
If you can, turn your mic up a little bit if you got a quick way to do
It's
that.
all the way up.
Talk about
You,
something.
I think you had asked if you said you had asked us if if you thought live music would have a resurgence or whatever, and well, the whole music topic in general. Like I don't think that like for one, I don't think music is anywhere like near as special as it used to be, and I think it's like heading more in that direction. So I don't think that concerts would have a resurgence, especially not like since the way they like have all these concerts online now, like in different video games, like you can they have like these live whatever. But
Are you talking about
I'm-
Fortnite?
well, there's like a lot of different games that do it, but anyway, I've never been to one, like seen what, but I don't know. I don't think I couldn't imagine that getting that popular, especially with like how Mark Zuckerberg had the same kind of idea with Meta to have these like virtual worlds, kind of like VR chat. But um yeah, anyways, I don't know. Like, cause back in the day, music used to be a lot more special, I think, because especially if you think about it, like all the way back to like the 19th century, when Beethoven was making music, like people didn't uh listen to music on a regular basis, and so when they had to listen to music in like concert halls or like opera houses or whatever, and so they would plan to go to these for weeks in advance, and then they'd go, and then they'd often have to like travel long distances to get there, and then they'd wait in line, buy a ticket, then stand around and twiddle their thumbs until finally the music starts, and it was just like an awe-inspiring experience that left like a huge emotional imprint on them. Whereas
Yeah.
today, like music is everywhere. You hear it in the
Mm-hmm.
supermarket, in your car, and the background of TV shows. So it's no longer something that people experience with the same amount of awe that they did before.
Yeah. I have something to say, but real quick, if you what next? I don't know how to. Sorry for being so
What was
straightforward, but
that?
I don't know. It was my brain trying to process a little bit. Next, because that's a good point. Next time you got a monologue, if you could lean into the microphone, that'd be cool because it sounds so much better when you do that. But so can you remember my lit phase a while back?
Yes.
You know how like insane some of his musical things were, right? Like it
Yes.
blows, even to sit down and listen to it right now.
Yes, because we had a argument about who is better, Beethoven or Liszt, and I am a Beethoven.
No.
Well, Liszt has more notes. Yeah, Liszt has way more notes, but Beethoven has more soul.
If you guys haven't listened to any Franz Liszt, check out like La Campanella or Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2 or Un Suspiro. It's like critically acclaimed as like the most beautiful song in the world ever written or composed on piano. But like, just to get an example of what I'm talking about, because imagine you do that thing. You travel across. It takes you days to get there. You're standing in line. You're twiddling your thumbs. You're smoking a copious amount of tobacco because that's just what people do. And you sit there, and then some old guy, who, by the way, has a wooden keyboard that he carries around to practice on, he sits down behind this thing, and he produces sounds that I can barely conceive of in the 21st century. I write complicated music, and listening to Franz Liszt, it blows my hair back, it blows my brain out the back of my skull. Imagine what kind of, that must have been a spiritual experience, to never hear any music, and then just like, anyway, okay, that's a whole tangent. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
But, so, okay, wait, let me pull this back in, because I wanted to say something, too. You mentioned a little bit about this earlier, but you know what is weird about bots? And this is kind of a terrible segue. This doesn't really match anything, but bots are,
What is in your ear?
wax, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. You're just digging around in there.
Might be a bullet pad. I don't know. Man's got an itch when man's itch you. I don't know what to tell you. I was thinking about lips, and I was like, ooh, I gotta hear that again. Anyway, that's what it's. If you don't know what Franz Liszt listens like or sounds like, just take both your fingers and in your ears, and you'll get a little bit of an experience. But bots are polite. Our language, the nuance of it, it might be something that can save us. I actually have, which, I mean, this may not be necessary, but I have a, I won't share my audio this time, but I actually have a, so this is a, I can't really zoom in. So this is a subreddit simulator using ChatGPT 2.
Oh, wow.
These are, so we've got different bots depending on the subreddit, like Trees, GPT bot. But the thing is, so this was, I'm in London, where can I find some herb? Is your friend Bud gonna make it by the party tonight? You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But they're so polite to him. I live in London, too. I'd be happy to buy some. You live in a nice part of town. Perhaps you should come over and help me out? Yes, I will. I've got a mate. I'll show you around if you want. I can hook you up with some, Bud. I will get it delivered. My address is in Paddington, London, England. Please ask for me. I have a bong and free Bud. I'm a good Samaritan and I have no problem with you doing and then this one, this is a, I know you're not from the UK, but try this instead. And it's, sorry to bit off the beaten path. This is actually just Google Maps of all of the entirety of London, by the way. I don't know. This is off the beaten path. Try London, the whole city. It's like originally where somebody's address. And it's just so, like, bots are really, really polite because they're programmed to be that way. So I was wondering, this is kind of like a thought I was having. What if, and okay, hear me out. What if we become encouraged to behave in a primate manner? You know, what if we're encouraged to prove our validity to use? I'm sorry, but to use slurs or be gross or to be too human to prove that we're real. You know?
Yeah.
AI isn't perfect, but 2 years ago, Will Smith eating spaghetti was a meme on video. I don't know if that was actually 2023. I don't know if you saw that, but anyway, I'll show you that video in a second. But.
No, but I did think about that, and I mean, yeah, what if that's the only way we can prove? But then the bots will just catch on, and they'll start being.
Yeah,
I don't know. Good.
I don't know. I think you'd end up in this feedback loop where the bots are then like trying to become more like, say, more slurs than the humans.
Yeah.
So what's
And,
interesting is
Let me just say, I'm sorry, this is off topic, but Melanie Lynn. Oh, look, I'm just looking at the chat. Melanie Lynn, yes, and Moonlight Sonata is the most beautiful song ever written, in my
No,
opinion.
it isn't. Claire de Lune is the best song ever written, but I mean,
It's good, but no, Moonlight Sonata.
Like 4 minutes of.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
One thing is Photograph by Nickelback.
No, look, you have not.
That's beauty right there.
No, if you think you have not listened to the whole song. It goes all over the place.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's try Act 2 and then come back and tell me that that's a good song. Because Act 2 is the most weird, out of place, boring piece. There's a reason that people listen to the first movement and the third movement and skip the second movement altogether.
It is. It is out there, but I still say, especially the first act, that is the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard.
Movement. I was using the wrong word. Yeah, but Claire de Lune doesn't have a fall off spot. By the way, you can listen to the whole thing, and it's beautiful. The whole thing. You can listen to Moonlight Sonata, the second movement. You're like, what is this song? Anyway? Yeah, that was certainly off topic.
I just wanted to agree.
Bots have to be PC because they work for businesses and corporations. In fact, there was Metal Gear Solid 2, like in 2007, had this whole monologue about how it was like AI was the bad guy in this game, and it was like talking about how they control the narrative in the context of the media. And that's another thing, bro. I know it's not going to take much, which this is later on, but I know it's not going to take much to convince you guys that obviously. You can buy 5,000 bots for $15. Okay?
Really?
It's not going to convince you. It's not going to be hard to convince you guys that certain powers that be might potentially be using these for nefarious propaganda purposes. Because you can just say, you can tell, you can make bots say whatever. How easy is it to get 5,000 not real accounts to say something that is the same thing? And
yeah.
Like 100 or 1,000 humans are like, this is not true. This is, it's going to get drowned out. It's going to get lost in the sauce. But bots have to be PC because they work for corporations. They promote. And if they are being used at this high level, no company is going to be like, yeah, I'll have my bot, pretend to poop in its hand and throw it to prove that it's real. I said primate behavior earlier, so, I had to go there. But, what if we're encouraged to go to that crazy length,
What specific scenario are you talking about? Like obviously you're not talking about like a CAPTCHA, like a verification CAPTCHA or something, but like
what does bot poop look like?
Like like maybe a video of somebody, YouTube videos or something. Is that what we're talking about? Like to prove you're real, like in content or something, or prove you're real house.
Live streams, Zoom calls. I don't know, any context where you need to interact with somebody. Because here's the alternative.
Like a business call too.
Anything, yeah. Imagine Johnson. Whoever had those quarterly reports, and you're like, you can come in, and you're like, Yeah, you'll see, according to the chart right here, we're actually projected for annual growth. And, okay. Oh, good Boris Johnson, you know. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, I'm gonna skip a step real quick. Because I wanted to say that the alternative is much, much worse. I'm sure, like I said, most of us could be easily convinced that a lot of the bots are owned to push a narrative. In fact, let me... Oh, here it is. I should still be able to do this. So this is how Russian operatives covertly hired U.S. influencers to create viral videos. There's a lot of information here. Oh, I lost it. Let's see here. Nearly 2,000 YouTube videos amassed 16 million views. They were paid to spread propaganda. And then there are, I'm all out of order here. There are lots of bot purges constantly. YouTube, which I want to turn that.
Should
What were
specify
they?
that-
What, okay, I'm interested in that about the YouTubers that were doing this. What was the topic? Like, what were they
I don't
influencing
know.
about? Okay.
I was frantically throwing this all together, and so I got surface level information. If you want this, I will verify it. I'll read it and I'll drop it in the description after the stream ends.
Just throw it in the comments. Just copy paste it into the comments so that we can look it up later.
Well, it's important to mention that it's not because they're Russian, you know, like every country does things like
Well,
this.
Right, yeah, sure. That's just one example, is all I'm saying. So because the point that I wanted to get to, right, is that that we know that large entities will do this to influence culture. And if bots are essentially free, you know, 5,000 for $15, that's free, in my opinion. Imagine we get to have a reset, right? Where this 52% of human traffic on the internet number dwindles down to 30%, and it's a global issue, and we all realize that in order to maintain usage of the internet, we have to purge all bot accounts, and everyone has to start from scratch. Imagine a world where the only way for you to access the internet is to include your social security number, your biological genetic information, things that are personally identifiable to verify that you are not a bot. What do you think about that? Would you?
No.
I mean, yeah, I would say it. Obviously, like it would have to lead up to that, but I don't think humans. I mean, I don't know anybody who like what do you stand to gain from the internet that's worth giving up all your information? You know, I mean, more,
Information superhighway, limitless content, and entertainment, pure dopamine hits. You know, 18th
Connection.
century farmers, connection. 18th century farmers did not have access to dopamine. The only time they got to have dopamine was when they thought they found something shiny in the grass and before it was a snake and bit them. You know, we're creating this culture right now where, I don't know, it was a stupid example, but we're creating this culture right now where we are literally addicted to our synapses firing dopamine. And if we get burned out, depression is going to skyrocket because we have been training ourselves to require this dopaminergic impulse. And so what are we going to do without it? What do we stand to gain? It's more like, what do we stand to lose? If you're here watching this right now, there's a good chance that you're addicted to the internet. I am. I'm not above this. I'm just scared of the future.
Me too.
That's all I'm saying. If we didn't have any internet, I'm boned. I'm perpetually bored. I don't know.
Well, I'm not. I have a lot of other hobbies, but I certainly would miss the connection. The connection to all of the people that I've met and grown to love over the last few years, and even just being heard about certain, things. I guess we all feel like we want to be heard, and that's why people create content. That's why people type in the chat and leave comments, because we all want to be heard, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would miss that aspect, but I would give up my social because it's pretty easy to hack somebody anyway. But not my DNA. You cannot have my DNA, because then you're going to make another Silky, and no.
Are you going to be, we're all bot Silky. This is all an illusion. Wake up. What, no, bro, the Truman Show really, really starts to feel like a reality sometimes. But okay. I mean, okay, like I get it. Like I get the sentiment. Like you can't have you can't have my genetic information. But they already do. And when I say they, I just mean it's accessible. Is it not? Have you been to the doctor? Do they know your blood type? Have you ever given a stool sample, a blood sample, plasma, bone marrow, hair falling out in the street? I mean,
Yeah.
it's already out there. It's not, so I guess, and this is kind of an unrelated question, but we have this illusion of privacy right now, where we look at China and we say, oh, they have, tens of thousands of cameras on every street corner. You'll never find a spot where you're safe again. But, are we really that safe right now? I mean, imagine. I mean, and this is conspiracy level, stuff. This is whatever. And my phone is over there. But we hold and carry devices constantly. This is a tangent, but we're at the end of my list. So, I mean, this is all, speculation and theoretical, jib-jab now. Y'all can talk about whatever. But have y'all seen Edward Snowden talking about, the danger of cell phones and, perpetual interconnectivity and how your phone literally, in order to operate, has to ping its location and all of the recently used data to
Yes.
cell phone towers constantly.
Hmm.
We carry these devices in our pockets that have cameras on the front and the back. And, some people experience phantom vibrations. Some conspiracy theorists out there say, oh, your phone will actually vibrate to get you to pull it out of your pocket and to check on where you are and what you're doing, I don't know if I subscribe to that belief, but, I mean, it's possible. And even if it isn't,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we're constantly showing our face and the world where we are at any given moment. And we're like, but we're safe. The cameras aren't out there. I have control over it. It's in my pocket. What do you mean? Some people have, webcam. It's the craziest, the weirdest dichotomy. Some people will have a webcam slider. They'll, block it off. And then they'll look at their phone for, 6 hours in bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Now, see, I'm willing to trade some things, but like I said, DNA is not. And I think there needs to be a little bit of air of mystery. Like, I don't want to know that, my camera can see. Well, I mean, I know it can see me, but I don't know. It makes me nervous because, do I really want the whole world to know if I am or am not wearing pants right now? I mean, that's kind of personal. And that's the kind of thing I feel like we're getting into. Is a bot going to pop up and say, in 10 years, oh, Silky doesn't have pants on?
Oh, Clippy, like Microsoft Word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? No, I don't. It's hot. It's none of their business.
I know we're getting a little, theoretical and conspiratorial, but where do you what kind of thoughts are you having right now about this whole thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking about it from a personal standpoint. The more, there's certain things that make me not want to use the internet as much, right? That's why, I don't use certain apps that I used to, and I mostly stay on YouTube because it feels like a way, that's my entertainment source because it feels like a way that I can really there's just so much to choose from. I can get the exact points of view I want and whatever. But I don't know. I don't see a world where people I don't know. I think there's this kind of view that people have that maybe one day everybody's all riding around in wheelchairs with a headset on, and we're all living in this digital world.
Wall-E is I think what you're talking about.
Well, is that it?
Really?
You guys you remember Wall-E, don't you?
I remember Wall-E, but wasn't the whole world destroyed?
Yeah, but humanity was living on a spaceship, and they were all 300 pounds. They had evolutionarily changed their bone density. They were no longer able to stand up. They were just these big fat sacks and hover chairs, and they lived in a giant mall, and they would just order burgers and all that. And you guys not, bro, from of these older movies are really like the dystopian. They point to where we're headed, but yeah.
I've never seen all of Wall-E, so I didn't know
Oh
that.
my god, I'm gonna have to find an image about it.
That's
But
disturbing, and it makes me want to go run around the house for a few times so I don't turn into a big sack of flab. I don't know.
okay, this is perfect. Okay, I actually found the perfect image. Here we go. And new tab. Oh wow, this is the tiniest possible. I'm gonna give you the tiniest, most grainy image you've ever seen in your entire life. Are you ready? Here it is. But this is like 180p blown up. But yeah, so this was in Wall-E. They were all just
Oh
big
no.
blobs, and they had streams for their faces, and they would just eat food, absorb
Oh, that's
content.
crazy. Yeah. Like I don't know.
I know
Sometimes
people that are like that right now, like today.
Dystopian. Look at stuff. It's like we already live here. What do you mean? Look, here's another one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Look at that. This is already us.
Oh my God. Yes, we do. Oh my God. I
A
guess I
lot of
need to
people in
watch
chat
Wall-E.
are still wondering if you're wearing pants, Silky.
I am wearing pants, but only because and I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes. Only because I had to take my daughter somewhere, and I have to go pick her up in about 20 minutes or so. So yes, I do have pants on, but let me just tell you, the sad truth of the matter is, if it is summertime or spring or a warm fall day, the chances are 99.9 I am only wearing a shirt.
I don't want to keep running around. I think the hot button just in case. I know it's wherever you are, you have like some cat, like something, the cat knocked something over. I've been ready to slap and get out of here.
Yeah, just cut my camera.
Yeah, you're gonna absentmindedly get up and be like, oh, I gotta fix this problem or whatever, and then
Yeah.
there is room. So, I mean, that's essentially the end of the list. I mean, typically with I'm trying to swap around the flow of the content here, because last time that we did this, it was just me rambling for way too long, and the point was there, but it was really hard to get to, and it was kind of exhausting. But I'm kind of done. Let's see. I guess I have a few more possible things. I mean, do you think that we'll ever see like a Woodstock counterculture? This kind of goes beyond just live music research, but do you think that we'll have like hippie groups that disavow the usage of the internet? They cast it away and they form their own out groups.
Maybe see if I don't know. Like this is kind of something I mentioned earlier. It's just such a hassle to like concerts at the moment. Like for example, like last year I went to this big concert that's not even that far away. It's like an hour away, and the person that I had went specifically to see, like it got rained out, and so his like hour-long set got moved to like 10 minutes, and instead of him and his whole band, it was just him and his guitar. And so like I was really bummed out about that. And that's something like that can be like unforeseen, before you're going. And also like there were a lot of like really really drunk and annoying people. And it was the whole thing to like
Yeah.
the whole thing to travel there and like buy clothes specifically for that, and buy like just all the stuff you need to make the experience like a good experience. And then you get there and you spend an hour parking, and then after the concert you spend 3 hours trying to get out, and and the concert tickets, like some of them are like $1,000, and you're not even close to an artist. And I think like everything is so like concerts are so crazy expensive right now that it's almost like people that go to concerts on a regular basis, it's like their hobby. Like they're like some people are gamers, like those are just like concert goers. That's what they do.
Well, I will say this. Oh, two things. One, I agree. I don't hardly ever go to live events because it's for all the reasons you just said. The exception being an Alabama game at Bryant Denny, because the experience is worth every bit of toil that you go just to be in that atmosphere. look, if you are from Alabama and you've ever been to Bryant Denny, if you know, you know. It is worth it. But let me bring up something else because this is horrifying. Talking about bots, and I saw this on, oh, I don't know, some reputable channel like the History Channel or something, about 3 or 4 years ago. They had programmed they had done this test multiple times. And they put in all the factors of our world, scenarios, politics, climate, all this kind of stuff. And all of the bots came to one conclusion that the world as we know it would end at a certain time. And it didn't matter what bot they used or what variables they took out. They kept trying to predict the future. Now, this channel would not divulge, of course, because it's horrifying, when that time is. But they said no matter what scenarios they plugged in, we all ended at the same time. That was really, really weird. What do you think about that?
Like a Jonestown thing. To me, that sounds like
But
cloud
no.
seeding without like any.
No, it
I'm
would be
just
like
kidding.
no,
Yeah,
like whether it was by, blowing our planet up or by, some kind of a meteor, whatever they put in, the date was the same. That is so crazy.
It's a meteor.
I
wonder.
don't know, but I guess depending on the scenarios that they gave, but they were not like fictional scenarios. They're like, okay, we see this meteor up here and we don't think it's going to hit the earth, but let's say, we're programming all these different things in, but it's based on truth. No matter what they took out or added of the truth, it still gave doomsday as the same day.
I mean, that's scary, right? But like, it's like, they're like, hey, this scary, terrifying bit of information is the thing you should be afraid of. But what is that information? Oh, well, we can't divulge that. That's too scary. Like, it's like,
Well,
you know, I
because
couldn't say anything. I'll have to do some some research on that. But that really strikes up the skeptic.
no, well, yeah, but think about it. Okay, it's the same reason that when I worked at the hospital and other places, when we know that there's something going around, like for 1 year it was West Nile, and then there was a case of Ebola at one place. Like, look, whenever we know something is going on, and people would call up the hospital and they'd say, "Hey, I've heard blah blah blah. Is there anything going around?" No, just our standard answer is no, just the regular stuff, flu. This is before, the C word. But yeah, like we're taught, whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're in medical, you know exactly what's going to happen and you've been prepped, but you can't tell anybody because because people panic and they do stupid panicky things. So how could you tell? Okay, I'm just making this up, okay, because they didn't give a date. Let's say they say 2051, December 3rd, 2051 is the end of the world as we know it. Okay, well, what do you think? People are going to be, especially in 2050, they're going to be acting all kind of crazy. And as the closer the date gets, I mean, it's kind of like the 2012 thing. Everybody was like, "Oh, are we all gonna pass away on December whatever?" And I'm like, I put on Facebook, well, I guess I don't have to do laundry today since the world is ending.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a whole thing. Which I mean, that was the. Oh, by the way, this is just fun fact. We found out that the Mayan calendar, the way we interpreted it originally, was incorrect. That 2012 was not the year that the world was going to end. It was actually 2028. So mark your calendars.
What?
It's still a possibility. Yep, still in the works. Still.
So we have about 3 years. 4 years. Is it still in December? We got the month right. Was it December? I can't remember.
I'm not an Aztec scientist or whatever.
It was in the fall. I know that it was sometime September. I don't know. It was something. So we still got 4 years. basically.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, so I mean, what's scary? Like, you know, this is theoretical. You know, oh, what if AI ruins it? I don't know that we have enough time for AI to actually ruin the world. I think we might, you know, but that's a topic for another time. But we might
Okay.
not make it.
I'm going to leave my stream up, but I'm going to have to duck out for just a few minutes. I'll be right back. So y'all carry on.
Where are you headed? Because I mean, I'm just about done. I mean, we're wrapping up. Like I said, this is going to be
Okay.
a short one. I'm going to try to keep these lives a little bit shorter because I want to do longer form stuff that we can edit, that you can actually enjoy. And then, you know, our live content will just be like short little chats and stuff about like interesting topics, like how it should be. But if
Hello,
you didn't
Lara,
know-
by the way.
Laura, it is nice to see you
Lara.
again. It is nice to see, and I'm glad to see you around. I'm glad. I'm thankful for everybody in chat, everyone who's been here today. It's always so nice. It always warms my heart to see you guys and to interact with y'all. It means the world to me. I know it means the world to Silky and Colton as well.
Yes, it does.
But so I mean,
Alright.
yeah, we're kind of wrapped up here. I'm sorry if you joined in just now. But there is, you know, we talked about a whole lot of fun stuff during this stream.
Yeah,
So
we
maybe,
did.
Maybe you go back and check that out, and we'll try to edit some pieces of this and, you know, whatever, cut it up and all that. But any final words, y'all?
Stay silky.
Any last thoughts? No, nothing like that.
I reckon that's it.
All right,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and until next time, y'all stay human, and we'll see you later.
All right. Bye, y'all. Good night.